Hello and welcome to Mountain Patriot Homestead. I've got my apron on. We're here in the kitchen, so that can only mean that we're getting down to some good home cooking. Now, recently we made a water pie, and that got a lot of interest because many of you had not heard of water pie. Hopefully since then you've tried it and you'll let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. But today we're going to be going to the opposite end of the spectrum, and instead of a water pie, we're going to be making sawdust pie. That's right, sawdust pie. Let me know if you've ever heard of sawdust pie. What did you think about it? If you've tried it, let me know that. And if there were any variations on your recipe or wherever you tried it, if they put something different in it, because that's the fun part about cooking, is it is a way of whoever is in the kitchen, whoever is doing the cooking, to express themselves through their food. Now, I never cook the same thing the same way twice, I promise you. My mama was the same way. Daddy always said she couldn't make biscuits the same way twice. And that's true, because every time we get in the kitchen, weather factors in, even our moods factor in. I believe that. I believe whatever mood you start out in is going to reflect into your food. And that's why Mama's cooking always tasted so full of love. I know that sounds corny, but I believe that. But today's recipe for sawdust pie is so simple, you've got to try it. Let's get started. I promise you, you are going to be amazed at how easy this dish is. The very first thing that I have ready here is a pre-made pie crust. And if you can make your own pie crust and you want to do so, by all means, go ahead, do that. Actually, I prefer pre-baked. I prefer homemade pie crust because, see, like this little store-bought one, it wants to keep kind of cracking on me. Well, I just keep mashing it together. And here in a little bit, I will get it in the oven and it will quit doing that. But, you know, this is what I had. This is what I had time for today. So I've got my store-bought pie crust there. But let's put the ingredients for the filling into this. Now I'm going to get this couple of crumbs out of here that come from the pie crust, and they are now gone. Here's how easy this is. Pretty much it's a cup and a half of everything. I've got a cup and a half of sugar is going to go into here, and I am just kind of reaching over here, and that's my half cup. And I'm going to use the same measuring cups for all of this. I could have had it all pre-measured out, but I did not. You know, this is real cooking, folks. This is my kitchen, and I'm just kind of going with it. So there is a cup and a half of plain white sugar. That's it, just a cup and a half of plain white sugar. Now, I need a cup and a half, and that ain't gonna work because that is too small. So let me grab a spoon. Okay, got a spoon where I can get this out now. And this is just coconut flakes, flaked coconut, and I am using sweetened coconut flakes. If you prefer this to be less sweet, go for it, because it does already have a cup and a half of sugar in it. But you know, if I'm eating dessert, and I know I cook a lot of pies on here, so it sounds like that's all we do is eat sweets, but I promise you that is not true. We don't eat a lot of sweets around here. And for one thing, I doubt my husband is going to eat this at all. So if you do not see him helping me do a taste test on this one, do not be surprised. And I will explain why. if you are a texture person and you don't like, certain textures in your food, you will understand that, because he is I'm sorry folks, I keep reaching across this. Probably all you're seeing is my big alarm. He does not like certain textures in his food. He does not like coconut in his food. He doesn't mind the taste, but he does not like the texture of coconut. He does not like the texture of nuts in cookies and cakes and that sort of thing. That was 1.5 cups of coconut. He does not like, say we're making chili, he does not like big chunks of tomato or anything like that. He is just a huge texture person, and so he does not like that sort of thing. So I really doubt he's going to try this pie. I mean, I'll ask him, but I really doubt it. Okay, so I've got 1.5 cups of sugar in here. I've got 1.5 cups of coconut. Now I'm adding 1.5 cups. This is not sawdust. This is 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. Graham cracker crumbs, even though I can't say it, that's what it is. Now, you can crumb these up yourself. You can get graham crackers and, whale fire out of them and make graham cracker crumbs yourself. But when I went to the store, I found that the crumbs in my particular store were cheaper by $1 over what I could get the cookies for, the graham crackers. And so I just went with the crumbs because it's less work for me to have to do in the long run. So here we go. We're still following the same pattern. 1.5 cups of sugar, 1.5 cups of coconut, 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, and 1.5 cups of, this is walnuts. You could use pecans or your favorite nut, but this is chopped walnuts. And that's it for your dry ingredients. So see, that is not hard at all. And you just stir this all up together, mix it up good together. Now, I know some folks are going to be saying, oh, that's too much sugar. You shouldn't eat that much sugar. No, but I'm not going to sit down and eat the whole pie at one time. So, there we go. That is mixed up to my likings. Now, this odd-looking stuff is actually egg whites. And it's from my chickens, and it is it's going to depend on the size of the eggs that you have, how many eggs it takes to make 1 cup of egg whites. Because my chickens lay rather large eggs, and so it took 7 eggs to get me a cup of egg whites. But whatever size eggs you have, you need 1 cup of egg whites. Now, do not throw those yellows away, because I'll tell you what I'm going to do with the yolks in the morning. I will use those and mix them up with, I had some leftover potatoes and leftover sausage at supper, and I am going to mix that up and make breakfast burritos in the morning. So that's what we'll have going on with that stuff in the morning. And the egg yolks are gonna make that really good. So yeah, don't throw your egg yolks away whenever you only need egg whites for something. And you see, as I'm mixing that up, at first it looked like, okay, well that's gonna be way too little moisture, but the more you mix it, the more that egg white incorporates in there. And all those dry ingredients, those breadcrumbs, that sugar, coconut, nuts, everything is just kind of melding together. Don't that look good? Actually looks like cookie dough, doesn't it? It does look like cookie dough. Whatever it looks like, it looks delicious. So I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way because I want to get my pie crust in here. And you see this made a considerable amount. So I am going to try to gracefully put this into my pie crust without dumping it all over the counter. Woo! Well, did you see some of it go flying? I'm telling you, this is like dinner and a show every time I come in the kitchen because I'm gonna make a mess. There's just no two ways about it. I'll make a mess every cotton picking time. But, you know, I've been doing it for decades now, so I can get all this stuff moved so you can see what I'm doing. All I'm doing here is I'm just kind of spreading it out in here. You see it looks rather dry, but all of this is going to melt together and be amazing. Okay, so I have got that spread out. See all of that in there? Boy, you can see all of the components in it. It just looks wonderful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bake this pie 45 to 55 minutes at 350 degrees in the center of my oven. Now it should come out and look golden brown. That's what I'm going for, is the golden brown look. Now if my edges start getting a little bit too done, I'll have to kind of cover them up to keep it from burning. But other than that, 45 to 55 minutes and we should be good. So let me get this in the oven and we'll come back as soon as it's done. This is not the most beautiful pie ever made, but I tell you what, if you could smell the fragrance coming off of this, it is hard not to go ahead and cut into it. But it does need to cool off just a little bit because I'm telling you what, it would be like lava to bite into it right now. Well, here we go, the moment of truth. I should have waited just a little bit longer before I cut into it, but my sense of smell overpowered my good sense, and so I didn't wait. And that, I don't know what y'all think, but that is just like so much goodness packed in. I'm really not sure how to describe what it looks like. It is almost like a coconut pie and a pecan pie and every other kind of delicious pie just crammed into one, like a giant gooey cookie pie. But anyway, I think mostly the smoke has quit boiling off of it, so let me taste it and tell you what I think. I think it's still hot. Okay. Walnuts was a good choice. Normally, my preference for nuts is pecans, but walnuts was a good choice in this one. And I'm a black walnut lover, so I think even black walnuts would have been really good in this. I know some people don't like them because they're kind of strong, but I think walnuts was a really good choice in this. The coconut gives it, you know, if you're a coconut lover, you know what I mean when I say it gives you that tropical experience. It just adds that, just adds the flavor that even vanilla doesn't have. Well, of course it doesn't have because it's not vanilla, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. The graham crackers make it, I don't know why they call it sawdust pie. I guess because the graham crackers look like sawdust when you put them in there. But really, when it comes out, now, as it's been cut longer, I don't know if you can really tell, it's starting to get more of a cake-like consistency, I guess you would describe it. But I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it other than it is absolutely delicious. And somehow those ingredients just work. It has almost a buttery flavor, even though there's not a speck of butter in it other than maybe in the pie shell. I mean, that was a store-bought pie shell, so I don't know if they had, I doubt they had butter in it. But the pie itself, the only liquid in it was the egg whites. But somehow this has almost a buttery flavor. And I'm telling you what, you could, as a matter of fact, if I don't sit here and eat all of this while we're talking, I have some butter pecan ice cream that I think a little scoop of that on this would be wonderful. Or plain vanilla. You know, it's an ice cream good with anything, but I think ice cream would be great with this. But if you wanted to, I think throw in some, say throw in some chocolate chips, you could probably do that. But I'm telling you, this is good just like it is. It's better than good. It's a little too good, so I'm probably gonna share this with somebody because, yeah, I don't want this sitting around the house all weekend. So anyway, if you try this, let me know down in the comments below what you thought. And would you change anything? Would you try it any differently? Would you add anything to it? Would you put fruit on top of it or something? So let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know that also. I'm going to get back to my pie eating. Y'all have a good evening. I love y'all. Mountain Patriot Homestead, signing out.